are going to do their,
Yeah. Sorry. I'm gonna close this over back.
they're going to do their thing, and then we'll go from there. So I'm going to
Sounds good.
be silent. But thank you
Okay.
for being here, and I think that our making the connections is so important. We've got so much work to do.
Absolutely. Glad to be here. Anytime you need me, I'll be there.
Good, thank you. We'll take you up on that.
I know.
Kara, we started the meeting.
Yes, we started.
Okay, perfect. Well, as people are joining us, we'll give them a few minutes. Can you all see the screen I'm sharing?
Yes.
Okay, perfect. 1 second. Well, Senator, I guess we can just start kind of getting into it, honestly, if that's good with everybody.
Okay, yeah. I just, I'm only here for the purpose of saying welcome. And of course, you're going to hear some phenomenal information today. And it's important that we continue to have conversations that allow us to delve into a situation that doesn't seem to be going away fast enough. And so we're talking about Black maternal health, and of course, in the same realm as infant mortality and minority health, period. So, welcome. I know that Senator Hicks Hudson will be on the call shortly, but in the meantime, I'm just going to turn it over to Amber and Deja. And thank you again for being here, everybody that's on the call already. And I'll be back later.
Thank you so much, Senator, for that welcome. And thank you for everyone that's on the call today. And especially thank you to Representative Mays for joining us from Pennsylvania, our neighbors, to learn more about what they're doing to tackle this issue of infant and maternal health and to improve that for our mothers and our babies. I will go next, so welcome. And so I just have a brief overview of the creation of the Pennsylvania Black Maternal Health Caucus. Sorry, let me move this out of the way. They have 3 co-chairs. It was formed in 2023 with State Rep Morgan Safus, Representative Curry, and Representative Mays, who's on the call with us today. And, you know, they just came together to prioritize policy and legislation to improve these outcomes for mothers in their state of Pennsylvania, getting money allocated to programs, things of that nature, to make sure that we are tackling this issue head on, because every mother maybe should be able to survive and thrive. And then here is who's joining us today, Representative May. Thank you so much again for being here. We're super excited to hear from you and to teach us a little bit about what's going on over in Pennsylvania. So thank you so much. I'll go to the next slide. And this is the anniversary video, but I can leave it here for a second if you just want to go ahead and talk a little bit.
Well, happy Black History Month. Thank you so much for the invitation to join you today. I am State Representative Latasha D. Mays. I use she, her pronouns. And I'm just extremely happy because to be back in contact and connection with the Ohio Black Maternal Health Caucus, which holds a very special place in my heart because as a longtime reproductive justice leader, I founded New Voices for Reproductive Justice in 2004. And when I left, I ran for office, but had run it for 18 years. And part of that work and part of my time leading New Voices was expanding the movement for reproductive justice into Ohio and working with what I say is the badass Black women legislators of the Ohio legislature, and that I was in the room the night that the Ohio Black Maternal Health Caucus was created. And so that is the origin story for the Pennsylvania Black Maternal Health Caucus. I got to shout out, of course, Senator Ingram and Senator Hicks Hudson for their leadership, as well as Rep. Juanita Brent, Now Congressmember Amelia Sykes, former state legislators, state reps Stephanie Howes and Janine Boyd, all were influential in who I am as a legislator today, and gave me the inspiration that would plant the seed to create the Pennsylvania Black Maternal Health Caucus, along with my incredible co-chairs, Rep. Morgan Cephas, the OG, the elder stateswoman who's been in office for 10 years and been the lead on this issue for many of those years, and Rep. Gina H. Curry, my partner in crime. They're both from out of Philadelphia area. I'm from Philadelphia originally, but I have lived in Pittsburgh for almost 30 years and built my life here. So I am just, again, grateful and thankful to join you. And I want to thank the senators, because when we said, hey, we're ready now to start our caucus, they were more than open and more than willing to share what their experiences have been and share how they structured and formed their caucus. I shared how they focused on leadership and leadership development in the caucus, how they chose their issues, and all the strategies that can keep this public health crisis of Black maternal health at the center of our state legislatures. So you all are part of the origin story. You are part of the lineage of the Pennsylvania Black Maternal Health Caucus. As was said and as was shared, we started 2.5 years ago with the idea that started back in 2019 with Ohio's caucus, that we needed to make this a priority, this public health crisis a priority in our Pennsylvania legislature. And at the time I initially brought the proposal for the caucus, Rep. Cephas, our co-chair, she said, Tasha, it's just not going to happen. We don't have it's not the right time. We're not going to be able to move anything. And so I was elected to office in 2022. My term began in 2023. We hosted the first Black Maternal Health Caucus. The first Black Maternal Health Week at the Capitol. That was the first time it ever happened, was in 2023. That's like 2 or 3 months into my first term. And then as soon as we finished that week of engagement and legislative advocacy, I said to Rep. Cephas and Curry, I said, it's time. We have to create this caucus. And we did. And we launched it in grand fashion in October of 2023 with our Speaker of the House, the first woman and the second Black Speaker, Joanna McClinton, with her support, the support of our House Democratic Caucus leadership, along with our Senate Democratic Caucus leadership. We launched our caucus with a clear vision to reverse the disturbing trends of Black maternal mortality and morbidity in the Commonwealth of Pennsylvania. The numbers have changed over the years, but it was definitely over 2.5 times more likely that a Black mom or birthing person would die before, during, and after childbirth. And so we have worked steadily over the years to change the course of maternal mortality and morbidity among Black moms and Black birthing people specifically. So that is how we began. You are a part of our story, and I would love to share our second anniversary video with all of you present to give you a sense of what we've been able to do in a very short period of time, instead of me just continuing to talk. So Deja, if you're able to share that video, that'd be great.
Yes, let me switch over to that right now.
Deja, I don't think we can hear the video, just so you know.
Oh. Do you have to, oh, sorry about that. I didn't realize that the sound wasn't working. Give me 1 second. Sorry, everyone. Technical difficulties. I'm going to just restart the video. The audio should work now.
Thanks so much.
Have you heard about the Pennsylvania Black Maternal Health Caucus?
First and foremost, just want to thank you all for being a part of this journey.
Communities and countries are only as strong as the health of their women.
So welcome to the launch of the Pennsylvania Black Maternal Health Caucus.
This is the beginning of the legislative journey to the hopeful ending of unprecedented loss, grief, and destruction of the birthing journey and ultimately the joy of the Black family.
From Philadelphia to the Southeast to Pittsburgh to Erie County to Pike County, we're answering that call today. 70 plus members of the House and Senate joined the Black Maternal Health Caucus.
We don't want to have to, experience the things that our mothers experienced, that I experienced.
We do this work in this space because Black women are dying. We are dying 3 times more in our birthing experiences.
92% of Black maternal deaths are preventable and unnecessary.
We are united in taking action to protect women's health and begin our work to address disparities in maternal mortality that have existed for far too long.
With $22.5 million this year in maternal health investment.
I just counted 8 bills up there.
I want to extend my heartfelt gratitude to the Pennsylvania Black Maternal Health Caucus for their advocacy for getting the State Maternal Health Innovation Award to even exist.
Representatives Mays, Curry, and Cephas, these 3 women have taken on their backs this issue of Black maternal health and have raised it to new levels across our state.
And what the Black Maternal Health Caucus has done is allow these conversations to happen.
As chair of the Health Committee, I want to applaud them for all their work.
We can be legacy makers.
We are forging ahead to ensure that we make sustainable impact. This bus has left the station, and you don't want to get left behind because we know where we are going, to a place for health and Black maternal health.
All I can say to these hard-working Black women that have created the Pennsylvania Black Maternal Health Caucus is thank you.
Thank you for sharing the video. I really feel like that's such a great representation of that captures the spirit and the energy and the power of what we have been able to do in our legislature. At the end of 2024, the issue of Black maternal health in our state legislature was the top story of the year, because we were working with legislators across the aisle and in both chambers. We were working with maternal health and Black maternal health organizations and advocates. We were working directly with moms and birthing people, working with healthcare providers, working with all of the associations that try to lobby us, including insurance companies and working with the insurance committee, hospital systems, and so many other stakeholders who have to be a part of the equation to address and to redress maternal mortality and morbidity in our Commonwealth. We've tried to use every tool that's available to us, and whether that is legislation, whether it's a administrative change, whether it's straight up advocacy and organizing, bringing together the stakeholders as we did to host our first statewide Pennsylvania Black Maternal Health Week Summit. We did that in Pittsburgh last year. To the budget, using the budget process to not only raise questions, raise awareness, hold all the different agencies accountable, whether they know it or not, they can be part of the solution for maternal mortality and morbidity. I don't care if it's the Department of Environmental Justice to the Department of Agriculture, as well as Health and Human Services. All of them have a role to play, and that's what we have demonstrated to them and have called them to action to be part of the solution, answer the call, the charge to end Black maternal mortality in our Commonwealth. And we've been able to do that very successfully. And I'm so proud to also share our budget investments from last year. We're continuing to see the greatest investments as a result of the caucus being in existence. So it doesn't matter if we pass legislation if there isn't money in a fiscal note to back it up. And so I'll talk a little bit about our legislation and the Pennsylvania Omnibus package. But the budget, we started off in the first year was about $22 million that we were able to secure specifically for maternal health. And that was the 2024 and 2025 budget. It was the first year that we were able to secure a line item specifically for Black maternal health. And that in the amount of $2 million, $2.5 million. The following year, we were able to increase that amount to $5 million for Black maternal health. We're going to be flat this year, but we could have lost money. But last year's amount that we were able to invest was $31.1 million, which again, these are the greatest investments of maternal health and Black maternal health that we've ever done in our Commonwealth. That's all great, but we have a long way to go. But we have used every tool available to us. We have really forged relationships with our Republican colleagues, especially those who are living in rural counties and rural communities and rural districts. Because long before there was a Black Maternal Health Caucus, and we have gone toe-to-toe with them about us being called the Black Maternal Health Caucus. But what we told them is we're not changing our name, and we're not changing our purpose and our mission and our vision. We know what the assignment is, and that's how we're going to go forward. And the thing is, if you don't want to talk about, you can't ask us not to talk about the very group that's dying at the highest rates in our Commonwealth. And we can talk about the disparities in rural communities, because they weren't doing that before we created the caucus. So sometimes when we're working across the aisle, it feels like we need our Republican colleagues and it's a one-way street, but they need us too. So I was able to support one of my Republican colleagues in being appointed to the Doula Advisory Board that one of our pieces of legislation created, because it required a Democrat from the House and Senate and a Republican from the House and Senate. And so they need us too to be able to advance the issues that they care about. And for us to be strategic partners, because we don't agree on 95% of things, but on maternal health, we do. So how do we work together, work in a strategic vision, purpose forward way to actually deliver for all moms across the Commonwealth? And that's what we have to remind them, that this is not just for Black moms and birthing folks. It's for white moms and birthing folks too, all moms across our Commonwealth. We have to remind them of that when they want to worry about us identifying Black moms in the work that we do, or what language we use to make sure that we are inclusive and expansive of anybody who might need maternal health care, regardless of how they identify and their sex or gender. These are the conversations we've had to push back on our Republican colleagues about. But at the end of the day, the Black Maternal Health Caucus is delivering in a way that they've never been able to do, because we made it the priority in our legislature. And the governor talked about Black maternal health in his first 3 budget addresses because of what we've been able to do to generate the energy demonstrate how it's a win-win in every way for everybody involved, and that we have to be a leader among our states like Ohio to end preventable maternal death. This year, it's 98% of the maternal deaths are preventable in our Commonwealth. So even in spite of our work, there's a lag in the data. So the reports that we require, they're reporting on data from 2 and 3 years prior. There weren't even annual reports before the Black Maternal Health Caucus came along. But we're seeing that the situation is worsening, that the data is going in the wrong direction. Part of it is because of the delay, but we know that this will continue to be an issue, a crisis, and something that we must all in our Commonwealth and in Ohio and states across this nation, we must be relentless in our pursuit of ending maternal mortality among Black moms and among all moms and birthing people. And it's just going to take structural changes, even in addition to what we do in our caucuses, to win. And especially with hospital systems and insurance companies, which are the greatest drivers of how we're able to provide the care to moms and babies and birthing folks. And so we have a monumental task ahead. But what we have tried to do as the Pennsylvania Black Maternal Health Caucus is, in spite of the trauma, that there's still joy in birth. There's still joy in pregnancy. There's still joy in your motherhood or parenthood journey. And that's what we've tried to capture in this work that we've been able to do, and to make sure that we don't lose momentum. It's easy to do. It's hard to do. I know my legislators can appreciate all that we have to balance and juggle. I'm a mom myself. I'm a non-birthing parent, but I became a parent in the midst of us creating a caucus and leading this work. And the things that I could talk about or knew about, I was now experiencing them myself. And so the stakes are different and the stakes are higher. And I'm just proud of the work that we have done as a caucus. And the Pennsylvania Momnibus, which is our legislative package, is modeled after the federal Momnibus, but of course, with the state-related legislative focus. The first year, we introduced 8 bills in the Pennsylvania Momnibus 1.0. 5 of those bills passed out of the House in about a 6-month period, and 2 of those bills became law. One that now required Medicaid coverage of doula services and created the Doula Advisory Board. And then we had a public health awareness campaign around maternal mental health. This year, or this term, Pennsylvania Momnibus 2.0, we have introduced 11 bills. We are introducing a 12th bill. And those bills, some of them are carryovers around blood pressure and preeclampsia and requiring Medicaid and private insurance coverage, as well as breastfeeding protections. My bill is about ensuring that there are nursing rooms and facilities in every state building. We currently don't have a public nursing room in our state capital. And so that has to change. We're addressing midwifery. We had our midwifery bill that's not part of the Momnibus that is on the move, but we had some other ancillary midwifery bills that have moved as well. We have the Pennsylvania Dads Act, which engages fathers and non-birthing people in maternal health outcomes. And so looking forward to building those bridges with our dads and fathers and partners and non-birthing partners as well. We also are addressing trauma-informed maternity care. So many folks who have given birth talk about the majority of them are experiencing trauma in the birth. And so that is actually a Republican introduced bill that I'm the co-prime sponsor on to press this issue as well, and what can change. And it's modeled after our Dignity Act for incarcerated women that included trauma-informed care. So we have some other great bills too. How do we divert moms from incarceration? So we have proposed a substance abuse or a mom's court that gives consideration to mothers or folks who are raising children, and to provide them support versus incarceration. And there's more, but I can't remember them all offhand. but I have shared a graphic that hopefully can be shared with the group. I'll stop there. I'm happy to answer any questions. I don't want to just keep talking, but I appreciate this opportunity to share what some of what we have done in the Pennsylvania Black Maternal Health Caucus. And again, shout out to my co-chairs, Rep. Morgan Cephas and Rep. Gina H. Curry.
Thank you so much, Representative Mays, for that wonderful overview of all the work that you and your caucus has been able to achieve in these last few years. And I will say I do have the Momnibus 2.0 progress report graphic displayed. Everyone, I believe, should be able to see it on their screens right now. And I just wanted to shout out Representative Curry, who is on the call. Representative Curry, you may be able to turn your microphone on if you wanted to say a few words or join in. I believe you should have the ability to do that. But if not, just shouting her out as well as she's on our call.
Hey, Rep. Curry.
Hello, everyone. I think you can hear me.
Yes.
Oh, wait a minute. Let me put my. Oh, I don't think you can see me, but you can hear me. Okay. Thank you very much. Hi, Rep. Mays. That was a wonderful presentation. I just wanted to let you know that I was here. I had to download a couple things to get to you all, so I wasn't timely, but I did get to hear what you had talked about with everything that we've been able to do. And I just want to thank the legislative
Have you heard about the
warriors who are in Ohio, who have really encouraged and inspired us to move in the direction of, getting this work done. So thank you so much for all that you all have done and all that we plan moving forward. Thank you.
Thanks, Rep. Curry. I'm glad you're on the call. Rep. Curry, she is really the person who said, hey, we need to be talking about Black maternal health. And she was the one that said we need to have Black Maternal Health Week at the Capitol. I was kind of burnt out when I got to the legislature, and she reinvigorated my passion on the issue, and of course, my long-standing commitment to reproductive justice. So I want to thank Rep. Curry for, reigniting that fight in me for us to, again, pick up where Ohio showed us the way of how to make this happen and make this possible. I'm not sure how much time we have, Deja, but if you wanted to show the second video, that'd be great. It's from our Pennsylvania, our first statewide Pennsylvania Black Maternal Health Summit. If there's time, if not, we can go in any direction you like to go at this point.
Hello, this is Amber. So she's working in the background. I did want to jump in real quick. We do have until 1, so we don't have to stay for that whole time, but if there are questions that arise, I personally want to thank yourself and Rep. Curry on behalf of Senator Hicks Hudson for joining the call, and to say that your presentation was great, and I actually do have a question myself. I know that you worked in the field for nearly 20 years. You started your own organization specific dedicated to Black maternal.
I don't know if it's me, but I am getting a frozen screen.
No, it's not you. I can't hear either. Oh, wow. Can I be heard now?
Yes,
Okay.
we hear you now.
Yes. Okay, I'm not sure what happened. I think that maybe the Senate is having issues. Deja might be on now. Deja, can you speak? Okay, Deja's is still glitching, I believe. So I will just continue with my question as they figure that out. I know you said you had worked in the field of the maternal health space for like 20 years prior to your time in the Pennsylvania legislature. Um, and the package of the guys currently have is very expansive. And to me, it covers a wide breadth of things that impact maternal health. I think it's a really key way to target a lot of like core issues. And so I'm wondering how those pieces of legislation came to be. Like if you guys took community input, if these were things that you identified in your work prior to being in the legislature, if these were things that you were talking with other legislators around the nation about, because some of those things I think are really impactful that like the blood pressure monitors through private insurance, which insurance is always an issue for not just birthing people, but for everyone. And I think that that one is a really standout. But you guys have a whole package of standouts. So if you could say more about that.
Sure. I think what we did in the first omnibus package, Rep. Curry called them the Great Eight bills. We looked at winnable legislation, and overall, we looked at research based solutions for major drivers of maternal mortality. And we looked at issues that would be considered controversial or more challenging to do, like implicit bias, right? So there were bills that we thought had a chance. There were bills that we knew would require more effort, energy, and support. And then we knew bills that were probably going to be quote unquote a problem, or we would have to pursue them in a different way. And so we have stakeholders, a policy group, and a community engagement work group that we're meeting with on a regular basis. Of course, some of this is informed by legislation that have been introduced in the past. It may be informed by different agencies who are like, hey, this is an issue that might be helpful to address maternal health. Of course, healthcare providers, evidence-based approaches to addressing, again, the drivers of maternal mortality. Oh, how could I forget our bill that Rep. Curry and I introduced around maternal and infant supply kits, because every family doesn't have what they need when their baby is born. And so while there's a focus on the baby, we want to make sure that the mom or birthing person also got a kit too, the things that they need. Like you may not be able to spend the $45 for the Frida box at Target, whether you shop at Target or not. Like you might not be able to afford that, or you may just not have the family or community support to host a baby shower for you, where so much of your stuff for those first few months come from. I was lucky. My colleagues in the legislature, they hosted a baby shower for me in the Capitol. I wasn't even expecting that as the non-birthing parent, but like the amount of stuff I had that I took home was just so humbling. Again, that was my first few months in office, and then we also had our family and friends baby shower. Every family doesn't have that, so we wanted to make sure that we were concrete in addressing social determinants of health in the Momnibus as well. We wanted to do one of the things that I hope we can do in the future is the guaranteed income for pregnant folks for during and after childbirth. We have a great model in Philadelphia called the Philly Joy Bank, and I believe they do $500 a month for 18 months. So while you're pregnant and then after you're pregnant. We know the postpartum period is really a lifetime, but like it's not 6 weeks, it's at least a year. So we wanted that bill that Rep. Curry and I introduced is about concrete supports for moms and families who may not have that support. And so that bill is in both Momnibus 1.0 and Momnibus 2.0. For 2.0, we really wanted to kind of expand what solutions can be, who can bring those solutions, how midwifery is a key to unlocking, the interventions that are needed for maternal mortality to decrease maternal mortality and preventable death. And so we began those conversations. talking about rural health with our Republican colleagues, like our bills have been overwhelmingly bipartisan in a divided legislature where we don't get a lot else done or passed that is so significant and meaningful in this way. But most of our bills have had like significant bipartisan support, every bill. And that didn't happen on accident. It happened because we were relentless. Rep. Curry, if you're still on, I would love for you to talk about your midwifery bills and maternal health deserts. That's been Rep. Curry's focus from day one. And she has made some great progress on her bills that are a part of the Mommy Bus.
Sure, I'm still here. I thank you, Rep. Mays, for including that part about being relentless, because I think whoever is on this call and whoever is doing this work, we know that there's a level of being relentless because everybody just doesn't understand. And so, I was just on our PA Women's Health Caucus call because I'm a co-chair on that, and that went until 12:30. That's why I couldn't jump on right away. But we were having a huge conversation about sex ed, um, comprehensive sex ed education in our state because of the level of STDs that are rising. And we know this is all connected into maternal health. So these things that are super important and the bills that Rep. Mays was talking about, we have a real priority in the Commonwealth of Pennsylvania to get midwives to have certain rights to be able to work with their clientele and their patients the way they need to. And so I actually put out two bills within the package of Momnibus 2.0. One has made it and passed out of the House, and that is a bill that helps midwives to be able to write prescriptions for physical therapy. We know that in working with their patients, they need to be able to provide a continuity of care. And in Pennsylvania at this time, they are not able to. So that bill is waiting over in the Senate. And then we have a bill that came out of the Health Committee that helps midwives to actually be able to sign off on, unfortunately, death certificates of their patients, both moms and babies. And, for so long in Pennsylvania, they haven't been able to do that for their own patients. They would have to wait for somebody to come and do the sign off. So these are two bills that are moving in conjunction with our Senate bill that's come down to the House and is waiting for comprehensive midwifery care. And so that is really critical, especially now that we have the maternity deserts that we have. We have, unfortunately, a birthing center that has been in existence for decades and gives works to do about over 600 births a year close because of the fact that they couldn't get the agreements together with the hospitals. And so these are reasons why we have to continue to fight. Maternity deserts are a real thing. I live in one in Delaware County as our whole health system crashed and burned. And now we have one hospital in Delaware County that is trying their hardest to help with the birthing process throughout the sixth largest county in the Commonwealth. So we have really taken great pride, not only great pride, but great efforts in helping our colleagues to understand on both sides of the aisle about the intentional space that we're working in and, making sure that we break down the institutional biases that come against even the conversation around Black maternal health. So we, again, really appreciate this opportunity to share this. And we look forward to continuing to share how we are actually doing this in Pennsylvania and how we plan to get more bills off of the bus and into the Commonwealth to help birthing moms and people to stay alive and to thrive through their maternal journey after birth.
And speaking of bus, thank you, Rep. Curry. I don't know if you saw in the video, but we have a Pennsylvania Momney bus, which is an actual bus. And it is in Pittsburgh, it's called Pittsburgh Regional Transit. So it's a city bus. It's an actual bus that runs in our public transit system that educates about maternal health, Black maternal health, what the Black Maternal Health Caucus is doing. And so we launched it in April. I think we're on the last leg of it leading into Black Maternal Health Week this year. And then we're going to figure out if we want to replicate this in other bus systems. But it's incredible. It runs in kind of my district, but people tell me they saw the Momney bus and it becomes a more concrete thing. And it's an amazing educational and awareness opportunity on the issue of Black maternal health. It is a great strategy if any caucus will want to do something like that. It's basically advertising space, and our system was really excited to work with us on the Pennsylvania Momney bus. So it's surreal to actually ride the bus. And so we say, get on the Pennsylvania Momney bus. We mean that literally and figuratively.
I love that. And that is such a smart way to get the word out about maternal health, specifically Black maternal health, to play your videos. People are going to do that now. And I just want to quickly, because we're coming up on our 1 p.m. cutoff time, I want to remind people about our Black Maternal Health Caucus second April 14th this year. We will be sending out our RSVPs and our call to the public to join us sometime next week. But I just wanted to make you guys aware that stuff is still coming. It will be open to the public on April 14th, and we'll have 3 panels with lots of information to talk about how we can move Black maternal health forward in Ohio. Deja's still having some technical trouble, so I'm not sure if she'll be back on, but we will have that video. And then Carol, whenever you want to play it.
Who died giving birth. Conversations that we just haven't spoken, and we did just that.
Every husband because I like to say the more
enough for that, and I hope it continues and grows. Working as a group for free. And we're focused on uplifting Black maternal health and incremental justice.
You know that the plan 9 times out of 10 doesn't go. It can also provide support in the community.
These three women have taken on their backs this issue of Black maternal health.
We are hosting our first statewide Pennsylvania Black Maternal Health Week Summit in the Steel City, and we are making history and herstory this week by bringing legislators from across this Commonwealth, Black mamas and birthing folks, advocates, Black maternal health advocates and stakeholders who want to change the destiny of Black moms and birthing people in our Commonwealth.
Reproductive rights and everything else that they need to ensure that they can have a healthy pregnancy.
This bus will be more than just riding around the city. Out of the East Liberty Garage, which is in the 24th legislative district that I represent, this message will continue to educate the Pittsburgh community about Black maternal health.
And just quickly before we end, we did have a question in the comments that Rep Mays was able to give me a little bit of an answer, but Rep Curry, if you could also expand on this. So from Dominic Johnson, we have, for your midwife bills, are you talking about certified nurse midwives, or would this be all types of midwives? And Rep Mays clarified that the larger midwife who can legally practice midwifery in Pennsylvania, but Rep Curry, if you had any additional details to add, that would be great.
So I heard a part of that because it was breaking up a little bit, but the midwifery bills are in conjunction to the the comprehensive midwifery bill, which was trying to, and that again has passed through unanimously through our Senate, but is waiting to go on the House floor, and hopefully we'll be able to do that in this legislative year. And the comprehensive midwifery bill was looking at, being able to make sure that certified nurse midwives had the ability to have the permissions to actually practice midwifery in and out of our hospitals. And so, again, the reason why our birthing center pretty much it's closing in March, is because these practices and these preventions are not put in place. So right now, my bills are supplemental to this comprehensive midwifery bill that we're trying to get passed for Pennsylvania that will protect these types of permissions and ability for midwives to do their jobs.
And sorry, just to be clear, for my sake at least, this comprehensive midwifery bill is also for midwives who are not certified nurses, correct?
Yeah, we are working on, we had a lot of pushback in our state, and I don't have it right in front of me, and I apologize, I will get that information to you, but we had a lot of pushback from some of the orgs about those midwives that weren't certified. So, we're continuing to try to get the work done around those pieces, but this particular piece of legislation, we can pass it on to you so that you can put it out to the to the body who's on this call today. It is a bill that was brought forward by Senator Rosemary Brown and is a bill that literally was under fire in so many ways to make sure things were included, but unfortunately, everything that we were trying, that this bill was trying to do wasn't. But as Rep. Mays said, we're trying to take baby steps and pull off as much as we can under the legislature that is in place and under the governor that we have. So I will make sure I get that language over. I don't have it in front of me and I apologize. I am not, don't have all the information, but I know that everything wasn't been able to be included in that particular legislation.
But I just want to highlight that it's still the midwifery bill that moved through the Senate. It's been sorry, somebody pulled up next to me. I'm like, what's going on? So that bill has been 7 years in the making, right? So this is about empowering. I don't hate to say empower. This is about making sure that midwives have greater ability to practice their life-saving work, their life-saving birth work. That they have more power in doing so, more practice to do so, more ability to practice. And so we don't have certified midwives in Pennsylvania. You can only be a certified nurse midwife in Pennsylvania and legally, right? So that leaves out a bunch of folks who don't need to go to nursing school, but midwives are highly highly educated and trained to do the life-saving work that they do. So there's models for how we can bring more midwives online, but there has been pushback, especially around non-certified midwives. And but we know the history of midwifery in this country, and that it was intended to drive out Black midwives. And so we also have highlighted that story too in the caucus around Black midwifery. And so we know Black Midwives Day is coming up in March, and I had introduced that bill, that resolution last year, and we got pushback on that because we talked about the actual history of midwifery and Black midwives in this nation and how they were driven out of their profession and vilified to commercialize and hospitalize birth. And so we are always lifting up so many different pieces of health and well-being and maternal health. And we use our caucus, we use the Momnibus, we use our platform to do that. And we'll continue to do that literally until the wheels fall off. And we're moving we don't know what the future holds politically. So we're just moving with all deliberate speed to get these important bills passed and moved and signed into law.
Note to end on, that we have a long history of these sorts of inequities and we have a long way to go, but you guys are doing good work, and hopefully we can continue to be in conversation and connection and uplifting our efforts as states in the Midwestern-ish region. Thank you so much for joining us. Thank you for everyone who attended. Again, reminding people to look out for the RSVP that will come next week for our second annual Black Maternal Health Caucus Summit. And we will see you next month. Deja, I don't know if you have speaking capabilities. So yeah, you're off mute now. But we cannot hear you. Okay, well, I think that's it for us. Thank you so much, everyone, for joining.
Thank you, everybody. Thank you so much, and look forward to working with you and continuing our relationship. And we want to come to Ohio to see you all in your capital, and hopefully you can come visit us in our capital as well. We look forward to that.
Yes, thank you so much.
Take care.
Well,
There's
sorry, make sure you get that information. Thanks, you guys.
Thank you.
you.